Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing is a locally owned marketing firm that specializes in website design, creating social media ads, and engaging your brand online. If your business can benefit from any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com today. We got a late addition to the show today. We had an opening, and my friend Jason Dourisseau came in and filled that spot. He's back from the Netherlands. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you listen, you're from Omaha. You've played overseas for 15 years, and you've done the pro basketball circuit, and you've decided to come back to Omaha, work here at Going Vertical, and help out the youth. Where does your passion for teaching young kids basketball come from?
Actually, it comes from so when I played, I met Adam. Well, I knew him in college, but I met him. I started working out with him a lot when I was around 23, so 17 years ago. And then from there, he sort of taught me the youth development and the player development side. And then so I was a professional, and I would work out myself, but then I would always hang around here and just learn. And now I'm doing that as well in the Netherlands. And when I come back here, I just love to jump in and help.
Walk me through the process. How does a kid that's from Omaha that goes to Burke, that ends up in Lincoln, end up in the Netherlands? What did that process look like?
It's just like every other kid. You have a dream. My dream was to go to the NBA. That's very difficult to achieve, but through that dream, I had a pretty good high school career. Got blessed with an offer from Nebraska. Went there, had a solid career, particularly my senior year, and then from there had some interest. Wasn't quite good enough to go to the NBA, but I did have interest in from European teams, and my first job was in Germany. So, yeah, that's how it started.
Do you have a favorite spot that you've been able to travel to?
For pleasure or for
work? For work,
yeah. That's a good question. I'd say the best basketball experience I had in front of fans, other than in Groningen, because our fans are great. When we played in Turkey, it was absolutely insane. The fans there is like a football game. It's the whole time chanting and things like that.
That's awesome.
So that was cool. That was a cool environment.
When you say, my dream was to get to the NBA, and that didn't happen, but I'm able to have this lengthy career overseas. Is there any way you can even look at that and consider that a failure because of the length of success that you've had?
No. And actually, that's funny you mentioned that, because my work in the Netherlands, I work at a school. And through positive health in sports, one of the aspects of the positive health is having a dream as a young person, and that gives you direction in your life to work towards it. Now, you want to dream big, swing for the fences, but oftentimes then you give your best. And as long as you give your best, and you really can't look at it as a failure. And I'm very happy and proud of what I and other people along the way have accomplished with basketball over there. So,
what is the biggest difference between playing overseas and playing in the States?
I can't really tell you as far as like the NBA, but like professionally to college, it was way more physical. Every possession mattered. It was we practiced twice a day, pretty hard. Now that's kind of changed. The culture has changed a little bit. Some people say it's a little softer, but no, I actually think it's just smarter. We look
right
with the science and the things we've learned over the years. But yeah, I just say the physicality and just higher skill level.
If somebody is, we talk to kids in this building all the time that are going to different universities, or we just had 2 kids from the Nebraska area get drafted to the Major League Baseball draft. If somebody is has a goal to play after high school, after college, and has those aspirations, what's the best piece of advice you can give to somebody?
Just block out the outside noise, because on the way there's going to be a lot of haters, and then just stay working on your craft. And then I think we have now proof that Omaha and Nebraska in general is up and coming in the sports world. You mentioned baseball just now, but we had the kid from Creighton who's also from Nebraska. You got drafted by the Celtics.
Yep.
We got the kids from Millard North. St. Thomas is out of USC. He's got a chance. what's the kid at Wake Forest?
Hunter Silas, yeah. William Kyle just went to UCLA.
UCLA. So it can happen. Like, you know, in my class, we had also myself, we had Wes Wilkinson, we had Roy Enright, we had some other guys went Division I, and then Wes and I played a long time overseas. But we've had a lot of guys out of Nebraska play overseas. So I think the next step, somebody cracking the NBA that lets our young people see this can be done. And then that's how it goes from there.
There seems to be this, I don't know if explosion's the right word, but growth in athletics in the state of Nebraska. And there was always this negative when you and I were younger connotation about, oh, they're from Nebraska, it's a cold weather state. Do you think places like going vertical and places that are indoor that give you the ability to work out all year round is a lot to do with why we're seeing this jump in success?
Absolutely. That's one thing, and I see that where I'm at now in the Netherlands, down by Amsterdam, they're starting to get that type of stuff. But where I'm at, there's nothing. And then Nebraska's taking major steps. We have, you know, going vertical is a great example. We got kids coming in here all day long, particularly in the summer, working on their game.
Right.
And, you know, it used to be like, okay, you play with a specific club or you play with a specific coach, and then there was like some friction there. It's like, no, my kid comes here and this and that. But now I think the mindset has changed. It's like, look, as long as we're getting in the gym, we're getting better, and then we hone our skills, and then we could, you know, showcase that under the lights. And we're seeing more and more kids, also on the women's side,
absolutely,
they're making a huge impact on the national scene and the world stage. So we should all be proud. It takes a village, but places like going vertical are very crucial to that development.
I went and stole you off a court here. You're working with one of the kids out here going vertical. It's getting ready to go off to college. But I want to talk about what you're doing overseas. You mentioned you're a teacher over there. You're working in schools. You're talking about what they don't have. We're talking about the long-term goal over there. What are you hoping to build in the Netherlands and kind of establish in that community?
Yeah, so the culture is a little bit different as far as, like, I'm a basketball guy, but what I've learned is pure basketball, you're not really gonna. It's more of a soccer, football. If you say soccer over there, you can't do that. It's football.
Yeah.
But that's the number one sport. But what I really want to do is just use basketball as a tool in combination with, like I said, positive health. There's a real big focus from our government over there and the school system. We're seeing there's just a lot of unhealthiness mentally and physically in our society now, and so we're trying to reach the youth earlier and with, you know, positive health practices, principles, that sort of things. And I use basketball in my background to sort of to do that.
What is the feedback from the community over there? Obviously, you've been there for over a decade now, but is there any? Is it mostly positive? I mean, you're an American. You're coming from, you know, you're not a native to their community, but you're trying to build this thing. Is it overwhelmingly positive? Has there been some growth?
Yeah, there's been. Well, okay, so it's funny. This is the power and the beauty of sports, right? I've played 10 years in this city, and we had a lot of success together. And the people there really value their basketball team. And then through that, I've been able to, after my career, you know, go in different places and you know. Suburbs around the city, smaller towns, and do some work, and people know me and they value that, and so we have you know, I'm one of them pretty much.
Sure,
you know,
yeah,
I have
yeah.
my passport for almost 10 years now. Speak the language, so I'm just.
What is the native language?
Dutch.
Dutch. That's what I thought. Okay.
Nederlands. Yeah. So yeah, I play for a club. My club, Flying Red in Roden. Shout out to Roden. And we have a youth program too, so I'm pretty active there as well.
We're catching up with Jason Dourisseau here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. You bring up an interesting point there, because with all the talk about the expansion of college football and the way college athletics are being discussed, there's a lot of the word relegation is being thrown around a lot. And you brought up soccer, and obviously in the Premier League and things like that happens, and that's very much a European thought process. But the other part of that is, a lot of the reasons is a lot of those clubs have youth clubs, have high school clubs, have college clubs, and it's much different than the system here. Yeah. Do you have a preference on the systems? And obviously both have their perks. But
so for basketball, I think the way we do it here is better because you have your school team, and a lot of times you don't really have to pay very much to play for the school. So there's a place that you can showcase your skills without having to pay too much. There, we have only clubs similar to like AAU clubs here or summer league clubs here. But the problem is they don't really play on big stages, and the level in the organization it's pretty subpar. If you just purely speak from a basketball standpoint, and it closes a lot of kids off because they can't pay. You have to pay your dues and the fees and everything like that. So a lot of kids underprivileged aren't allowed to participate in basketball in the Netherlands. So I like the way we do it here. I also know that if you play for a travel club team, that's also very expensive, and that cuts out a lot of people as well. So yeah, but again, I've been gone for so long, I really don't know the ins and outs on how that works, but I do know I've heard parents say that it's getting more and more expensive to
it's definitely not getting cheaper.
To participate in that. So that's something we have to be careful of, because then you close off a large segment of our society that has a lot of talent as well.
Absolutely. You talked about the difference between when you're here and when you're there. You're one of them over there now. Is it a culture shock for you a little bit to come back to Omaha?
You know what? Sometimes I try to get back once a year, and now that I've been in Europe pretty much my entire adult life, and then so when
Is that weird to say?
It is very weird. I never anticipated that. Kind of got stuck over there. I had a couple kids.
Sure. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I got young children there, so that's really why I'm still there. But yeah, it's my home now. I'm used to living there now. So when I come back here, it's like, whoa. And then everything in Omaha has changed so much the last, we're talking
4 minutes.
Years. Yeah. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But for me, 20 years. So every time I come back, whoa, this is new. There's a whole new development here. New
Gretna's
businesses.
exploding.
Yeah, Gretna's a whole town. When I left, Gretna was mostly one street with cornfields. Yeah. And so stuff like that it's interesting.
When you come back, obviously there's a balance, right? You're leaving your children over there. You're coming back. You're working at Going Vertical. You're helping build the youth community up in basketball. It's your job. How do you balance? Hey, I got to get home, but I got to see my people. I got to work. I gotta be able to take time for me. How do you do that?
Just time management. So I try to also continue to work out myself. So I try to get my work done in the morning, and then I'm busy working here a lot of times until the early afternoon, sometimes in the evening. But after that, I just try to go see as many people as I can. So I'm not sitting still too much because I don't have too much time, and I do want to see everybody. But I always try to make also time for my family, particularly my mother. Me and my mother are very close. She's my backbone to this day. Without her, I don't know where I would be.
Is that the toughest part about leaving?
It's the family. My sister's here. She has kids now. My brother lives in Phoenix, so I don't get to see him a lot. So, and I'm pretty much in Europe now by myself. I have my kids, and that's it.
Sure.
So I have friends and things like that, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? So
have you thought about life after basketball at all? Is that kind of
yeah? I mean, I'm in life after basketball.
Sure.
So luckily, I was able to. I got my associate teaching degree, and I'm working with sports within. So you have the university.
I'm assuming you teach English.
I have taught English.
Okay.
I teach positive health classes. I do now a lot of one-on-one mentoring through sport.
Okay.
Also with a demographic, like troubled youth, but also at the university level. So there you have, they call it HBO, and that's like the higher education.
Right. You
have to test into there. And then you have MBO, and that's like basically a trade school, but also university level. So I'm involved with sports and one-on-one mentoring, training, positive health stuff there. So I'm busy with that, and then on the side, I do my trainings, and I still play recreationally for my club in Rhoden.
You did the air quotes when you said troubled youth. Do you hate that term?
Yeah, it's because it kind of groups. It's sort of a stereotype, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially, we'll just say that youth or that have had some bumps in the road for whatever reason. It's never the same, but we just try to give them a positive experience through sports and like I said, it all comes back to those positive health principles because they help us in every aspect, particularly mentally. So,
because I mean, I grew up in South and North Omaha, and I knew kids that were troubled youths at the time, but a lot of it stemmed from home life,
right?
The way they were treated in the community, things like that. Is it the same situation over there where it's like, no, these kids just need somebody, and that's enough to kind of get them on the right path?
Yeah, sometimes not, and it does has a lot to do with the home situation. Sometimes we have in the Netherlands, an interesting dynamic right now. Europe, actually, there's a lot of refugees and things coming in, so that adds another dynamic to the society. But, just more people than there were 20, 30 years ago. So there's a competition for resources and things like that. But we do have poverty. We do have those sorts of things. So you see kids that come from difficult home situations. And then, at my job with my school, it's a different demographic, but also a lot of the same things. And I work at a kickboxing gym, specifically working with troubled youth. And sometimes troubled youth could be kids getting bullied, kids with ADD, but it could also be what you speak of, kids that are come from difficult home situations or, have a certain have a certain stigma in society. And then so we just, try to use sport and our knowledge there to help them get a little bit of structure, get a little bit of direction, get some boundaries, learn to deal with consequences of their actions, things like that.
What's your favorite part about what you get to do?
I'm still involved with sports.
Other than podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts are great, but seriously, I'm still involved with sports, so I'm not sitting at a desk the whole day, and I'm engaged with young people, and they learn a lot from me, but I learn probably more from them because, I'm getting a little older now, so to stay in contact with that generation is very valuable, and I enjoy what I do.
If there's one thing that you haven't accomplished in your life that you would like to before you walk away from teaching or coaching, what would it be?
Man, never really thought about it.
A bucket list item maybe?
Coach of 5. I want to get into coaching eventually.
Sure.
When the timing's right. I think I have a lot to offer there. Basketball X's and O's wise, but also managing people. My experiences playing for so long, playing with so many different types of people, assimilating into a new society, being the sort of outsider, and then trying to figure that out, learning the language. So I think I have a lot to offer in that capacity, and I would just love to, try that one day once the circumstances allow it.
Is the long-term plan to stay overseas? Is there exit strategy yet to get back home?
Know what?
We'll figure it out tomorrow, maybe.
Listen, Nebraska particularly that's home for me. It's in my heart. It'll always be there. Like I said, I've been in Europe my entire adult life, but I miss home a lot, particularly now. I'm getting a little older, so the family ties and things like that. But you never know, man. Once my kids are a little older, you know how that goes. They start leading their own life,
right?
And then they could, be a little bit more self-sufficient. So then maybe at that point I could. But right now they need me.
How old are they?
8 and 4. I have a son in here. He's 17, so he's almost grown.
Sure. Has the 8-year-old picked up a basketball yet?
She, I'm getting her into it. She's actually a girly girl. My son is 4.
Yeah.
He's getting into soccer. But yeah, he likes basketball too. So we'll see. I'm not really pushing one way or the other, kind of letting him figure that all out. But if he ever wants to get into basketball, obviously I can help him with that.
You mentioned your time in Lincoln earlier, and we were talking a little bit off air about what they have going on down there now. How often do you get to keep an eye on what obviously Fred Hoiberg now is doing down in Lincoln? And you've got a mutual friend on the team in Rink Mast. And did you get to see any of the run last year to the tournament?
So I watched one game because a lot of times the games come on in the middle of the night for me.
That's true.
I can't. I need my sleep, man. But I kept up with all the games this year, particularly because of Rink. I have a relationship with him. I played with him We did win a championship together, actually, in the Netherlands. And I knew from a young age he was going to be a really good player. But I'm very proud of what Nebraska has accomplished, particularly this past year. I think it's important that we continue to develop our basketball program because that only adds to the university, adds to the state. And I think they're on the right path, so hopefully they can continue that.
We're catching up with Jason Dourisseau here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Recruiting and being approached by colleges is much different now than it was 10, 15 years ago. And there's the addition of this thing called name, image, and likeness,
Right.
where you can benefit financially from that.
Yeah.
We have several kids that come in here and obviously come on my radio show, and it's a hot button topic. And it seems like the more successful kids, and they're obviously saying this, but also collecting a check, are focused on the bigger picture. If somebody's coming to you and they're saying, hey, I have an opportunity, I have offers, I'm trying to weigh, what the most important part about the recruiting process is. What's a piece of advice you'd give to a kid that, whether it be football, track, soccer, whatever it may be, about the recruiting process, and what should they focus on?
Yeah, just continue to focus on the work. It's just all part of that process. It can be overwhelming. It's actually cool, very flattering. People want you. They tell you how great you are. But the minute you start listening to that, then your growth stops. So you just want to have the maturity, particularly now, like I said, these NIL deals, that's real money. And in my time, we didn't have an opportunity to make money like that in college. So when that gets involved, just like I said, keeping that the motivation and that growth mindset, I think that's the best piece of advice I could give.
If it wasn't Nebraska, was there another opportunity you were thinking about when?
I would have been either Creighton or Iowa State.
What was it about Lincoln that kind of tipped it over the top for you?
I thought it was, at that time, Barry Collier was just coming from Butler, and I thought, it was up and coming, things like that.
Sure.
And just a chance, the flagship school for the state, and a kid that grew up here, I thought it was a cool opportunity.
Why Creighton? Why was that the other?
A little bit of the same thing. I mean, Dana Altman at the time, great coach. I had also watched him a lot growing up.
Yeah.
Rodney Buford. Actually, Corver was a senior when I was a freshman, but I saw him quite a bit. And they just, that's a really solid program, and it's in Omaha. So.
Was there a dream school that wasn't on that list of three by any chance?
Yeah, Nebraska actually was one of my dream schools, in Duke.
Okay.
I was a big Duke fan.
Sure.
Up, but yeah, I didn't. That's also reaching for the stars. But like I said, Division I was also good. So
we've had several kids give us reasons why they go to different schools, and the one that kind of has been coming up a lot more lately is the brand that they wear on their jersey. Kids want to go to Nike schools, kids want to go to Adidas schools. Is that weird? Is that weird to hear, or is that something that's just always been the culture? So it's
that was a little bit when I was way back, when I was in college as well, because now they have the shoe circuit of basketball. I'm speaking basketball. Right. You have the EYBL. You have the
Nike has their own events. Yeah,
you have the Adidas Gauntlet or whatever they call it. And then so you look back at LeBron came out in 2003, but there was a sneaker war for him. But everybody knew he was going to the NBA. But I'm sure that if the really good kids, they're also thinking about, okay, after college, shoe deals and things like that.
Right.
Maybe I want to go to a school that already has the shoes that I want to.
Is that a detriment to their growth, you think, if that's part of the thought process, or is it such of a one-on-one scenario that those type of kids need to be thinking about it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, because you want to keep that. Look, I always tell kids, get as much as you can while you can.
Sure.
If somebody's gonna give it to you, that means that's what you're worth. You know
Right.
what I mean? But you also have to have that in your mindset and have a long-term sort of growth mindset, but also keep in mind that it's bigger than you, and you should be still thankful that you can participate in these environments and for these schools and things like that. And you want to give your best for that school, but also keep yourself in mind, because you have your own personal long-term goal. So you got to find that balance in that. You know what I mean?
And I don't think that ever changes. You mentioned it. You're a business owner. You're a teacher. You're a father. You work with underprivileged youth. How do you balance all of that?
It's funny. We have over there, it's called a positive health spider web, and it's sort of the aspects of living a positive life. You have the physical part, your body. You have the mental part, your mind. You have your daily life, what you do every day, your involvement in the community, and then, goals. And then so for me, I just try to make sure, I go to work, but then when I get off work, find the balance in helping kids, but also try to find time for myself, find time for family. And just keep that balance and everything, so I don't get out of balance, and then that's when things start to go wrong.
What defines success for you?
Just daily growth, just continuing to try to get better a little bit every day in whatever it is that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And this keeping a growth mindset, keeping the mindset to continue developing, continue evolving. And to me, that's the definition of success.
I appreciate you doing this today, man. We're hitting that half-hour mark to shut it down. Is there any? Listen, you've set a record for most likes on a video. we got up to 7. So,
nice.
Is there anything that people should know about Jason Dourisseau that we haven't hit on?
No, just hey, go Big Red, go Burke Bulldogs, go Donar, and that's really about it. Thanks for listening.
We'll be back tomorrow talking to a unique business owner about his perspective on his business. I'm really excited to talk about. We'll let you know who it is in the morning. Join us at 11 tomorrow here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing.